Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are out there in the world. It's time for another episode of the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. This is Train Talk from Milepost 141. I'm George Bogatuk. That's Tom
Austin.
I was just trying to make sure that it was right this week.
Yes, that's me.
So, anyway, we're here.
I am who I thought I was.
Yeah. we managed to get through the first holiday here.
Yep.
We got Thanksgiving behind us.
Yep.
And I hope you had a good one.
I did. It was great.
Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
Nice and quiet.
Yep.
Yeah, you and the cats.
Me and the Cats and the Illini won their game. They tried to give it away, but they ended up pulling it out. So
There you go.
the Bears won. So it was a great weekend.
Yeah, there you go. What about your Chiefs?
I'm not really a Chiefs fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Bears fan. I like the Chiefs are okay, but not when they play the Bears.
Yeah.
I'm still an Illinois fan at heart. So
There you go.
you know.
Well, I personally don't care that much about foosball.
Right.
I love that in what was it, The Water Boy?
Yeah.
Mama always called it foosball. You
Yeah.
silly foos. So I started doing that. But anyway, I personally don't care that much about it. My brothers are big Cowboy fans, and so that's why I was bringing that up, is because they beat the Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day.
They've won more, like 4 or 5 in a row now.
Yeah.
And they've actually been coming on, so I'm happy for your brothers because Dallas is hot right now.
Yeah, my brother was actually at the game.
Oh, wow.
He has season tickets. He sells them off most of the time because my youngest brother lives in Knoxville.
Yeah, so a lot of guys do that. They'll go to the games they want to go to, then spread the wealth around.
Yep. So with all of us converging on Texas and Thanksgiving, he decided I'm going to go to this game, and turned out it was a good game to go to.
Absolutely, yeah.
So,
I mean, their offense is hot. Not to get on the football thing, but
yeah,
Prescott's playing well, and they're going to be tough to handle if they get to the playoffs.
Yeah, but my brother's weekend was ruined the next day.
Why? What happened?
He's a huge A&M fan, and he'd been looking forward to that game all year. As a matter of fact, we were going to go to the Stars game that night, and then he realized, wait, I can't go to the Stars game because the A&M football game was on.
Yeah, and it's not just anybody; it's Texas,
right? Of
so
course
I mean,
it was.
it's like the Red River, shootout. I mean, it's a game. If you're Texas A&M, as good as they are, they should not have lost it. And also, traditionally and historically, that is a game that everybody in Texas pays attention to. That's a big one.
Yeah.
And I was disappointed to see them lose too. Cause I really think they're one of the top 4 teams in the country, and I still think they are. But and I think they'll still be in the playoffs. So, and they're probably going to be a little cranky after that. So I wouldn't want to play them in the first round of the playoffs.
I would think so.
Right.
So. But my little D-Stars are doing well, so all's right with the world. And my personal hockey team, we're 4-0 now, so
excellent.
That's always good.
Yes, sir.
So I know you guys didn't tune in to hear sports talk,
right?
We're not the ticket or sports ticket radio.
There's not a lot to do in Cortez, Colorado at night, Thanksgiving night, other than Friday to watch football and work on trains.
Yep, there you go. I hadn't done much in trains, honestly, because with all the, like I mentioned last time, with the family issues, and then going back home for Thanksgiving, and then also I snuck away for take the wife for a few days to Disney. So we had a good trip. We had a great time, so haven't done much, but we did recently start shipping those blue 1100s, and I'm so excited about that because. You guys have seen, I've got my little General here in front of me, and this poor guy's been in a box for probably a couple of years now since Blunami came out, because to me it just wasn't as much fun to run anymore.
Right. I mean, because it's probably like the only one on the block that doesn't have Blunami.
Yeah.
But that's not the case now.
That's not the case any longer. And so we'll be posting on our YouTube channel, if it hasn't already posted, a video showing how quick and easy it is to upgrade from a TSU 1100 to a Blunami 1100.
It's the same harness.
And it's the same harnesses, so it's quick and easy.
Yep.
So I did this one last night, actually, because as of the day we're recording this, we just started shipping these 2 days ago.
Right.
So
and we've had a lot of interest on it, and those folks that signed up on the list, those emails have gone out. So check your emails because if you signed up for our list to be notified when they're available, they are available, and the emails went out.
Yep. So check them out, and I know we were already. I mean, as we continued to build them up, we were still taking orders for these products, and so there's not as many as on the shelf as we thought there were. So if you don't get them this first time on our website, make sure you check out the retailers because they will be out. So.
Right.
But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into projects. I see you brought your SW1200 out there.
Got this from George. Thank you, George. Mm-hmm. And this one here has an 1100 in it, a TSU 1100, Blunami 2. It's going to get the Blunami 1100 now that they're available.
Yep.
This is going to be a Missouri Pacific SW1200 that went to the little Crabworks and Egyptian Railroad down in Marion, Illinois in 1986. They got 3 of these engines, and then this one's actually was the one that's going to stay in Jinx Blue, and there should be a picture.
Yeah, there's a picture online you can see right now.
You'll be able to see it during the podcast what it's going to look like. But basically, they retained its Jinx Blue paint. Of course, I'll swap the trucks out. It'll have full length handrails, classification lights. I've got brass photo etch. Designed by friend Brian Banna, and they'll be up front here. The lights will be lit, and of course your typical exhaust port. It'll have the beacon on the back, just like the picture shows, and then of course the Blunami 1100 in it.
Yep.
Oh, and thank you to Walthers. They did get the fuel tank part to me.
Yes.
So now the extended range fuel tank underneath it will be also
nice.
under there as well. So
okay.
But yeah,
that's awesome.
And thank you again, George, for making this available. So this engine can actually see the light of day. Decals. By William Brillinger at pdc.ca. We call him Billy Cals for the win. And Bill has got my decals for me, 1147, including the little decal, the pyramid decal for the cab that blanked out the Screaming Eagle.
Okay.
And then, of course, the nomenclature up on the back of the engine and up the front, it'll say COER and have their road number
gotcha.
too. So.
Well, I had bought 2 of those because when Walthers announced those, they offered an undecorated non-sound. I was like, heck yeah, I'm going to jump on that.
Right.
So I bought 2 of them because I was going to upgrade mine to the Missouri Pacific.
Right.
And then it wasn't probably, 6 months later, Rapido announced that they were doing them already decked out,
everything
ready to go.
Yes, right.
And they came in the 3 road numbers, and so I kind of put those on hold. So it worked out really well. But I still have my second one, but I think I'm going to paint it in Ashadura Northern.
Right.
Because when I build my big railroad, I'm planning to have a interchange with the Ashadura Northern. So I've got both CF7s, and I'll have the
1200.
The 1200, and I'm going to get one of the Jeep 10s as well.
Yeah,
one of those Intermountain Jeep 10s.
That'd be cool.
And have a small little AD&N interchange.
I always loved that railroad. I love those box cars too. The green with the white door with the stripe.
Oh yeah, they were nice. All over the place.
And incidentally, on the like you talk about, you mentioned the Rapido 1200. The classification light brackets are the same ones for this one because I did the measurements for them for that bracket. And so Brian just took my measurements and then made the brackets for me anyway. But Rapido, they are correct, folks, too. If you want a Mopac Rapido SW1200, they came right off of an official engine because I went down and measured it in Heron, Illinois is where I measured that engine at for them.
See, I have one of the old Proto prior to Walthers SW 1200s that I did that I just made them I basically carved them out of styrene.
Right.
And made them, and they look fine.
Sure, they're just a piece of angle iron, really cut off.
Yeah, and I didn't know that at the time, but so mine's more of a block. Yep. But they look fine.
Right.
I mean, you wouldn't know the difference if you didn't know.
No, you wouldn't. I mean, that's the way I used to build mine, was the same way, out of a block of styrene, because I didn't know either, so I actually got to go down and look at one in person. That's years later.
Yep.
And like I said, I did that for them, and of course, the friends at Walthers, they have that same information as well.
Yep. But I had to, of course, light mine.
Yep. So and these will light too, thank goodness. But that's the only thing. And then George's harness is still in there, so all I got to do is just take the 2 extra functions, and I'll take those, and I'll take one of them and light my class.
Yeah, because I used that particular one in a video that we did on our YouTube channel. So if you guys are on YouTube, you can check it out.
Yep.
Showing you how to convert those Walthers when they first came out to an 1100.
Correct.
And so it's a pretty easy installation. It doesn't take much, but I used the undecorated version because that's all I had, because I hadn't had time to do it yet.
Right.
And then it wasn't long after that is when Rapido announced that they were coming out with the Mopac ones.
Right.
So, well, for those of you guys here, I'm going to turn on this second camera. because I didn't realize this thing I didn't have it rolling. Let's get the second camera rolling here. There we go. But anyway, I brought my General. I've brought this thing out and did a couple of videos in the past talking about how the decoder can be set up for all the proper sounds. And I just put the Blunami in it, like I said last night. And I had to go in and remember some of my settings because I took it out and had the decoder on my shelf and then put it in. And then went, oh yeah, I forgot to check on some of these CVs that I had like sound selection, which wasn't hard.
Right.
But it was more
especially with Blunami.
Yeah, especially with Blunami. But I'm not worried about that. It was making sure that I had the same chuff that I had liked in there, the same bell. And I'm pretty happy with where I'm at right now because I've got the hand-rung bell. And I do know it's very quiet, just by intentional. Like I've talked about with my models, I tend to turn the volumes down because I want to promote what's called scale sound. And these locomotives weren't very big. Right. It's not like they've got 120 pounds of air pressure behind the air horns.
Yeah, it's not a big boy sitting there.
Right. So a lot of these sounds are there, but you'll notice that you haven't heard any air compressor, any dynamos, or anything like that because in 1860 they didn't have a dynamo. It was an oil-fired light. And so one of the cool things I've done, and I'm going to move this camera over to hopefully you guys can see this, is that I've turned the light effect to an ashpan light. So instead of a solid headlight, because these were oil lamps at the time, so instead of an ashpan, like a firebox flicker, the ashpan light kind of fluctuates a little bit to like kind of simulate a wick on an oil lamp.
Right.
So it's not perfectly bright, but it's also not wildly flickering like a firewood.
Right. It looks great.
And so this was neat. This was by one of our former employees came up with that idea, and I was like, oh, that's brilliant. And so I went and did it, and I haven't looked back since because it's a fantastic lighting effect.
It does. It looks great.
But remember, they also didn't necessarily run with the lamp on during the day,
right? Because
they didn't have to.
Right. Didn't need it.
They didn't need it. So the other thing is this model started life. For those of you guys who don't know, this model started life as a Bachmann, one of the new tooling 440s. And so I've gone through and put a lot of extra detail on this thing to model the General as she lived in 1862 when she was stolen.
Right.
By Andrews and those Northerners that tried to break up the train, the rail line across there that was supplying the soldiers. And through the perseverance of one conductor, and my brain just went blank because I was about to say his name. It was I can't think of his name now. My brain went blank. But anyway, he basically persevered and grabbed anything and everything and caught up and made it to be able to catch them and got the Andrews team.
Got it back, right?
Yeah, got it back. But there's actually a picture, and I'll show it to you here, and one of the things I used for modeling it was later in the war, it actually got damaged by cannon fire or fodder and so forth. And you can see this picture doesn't have a cab on it.
Wow.
But you can see the domes, you can see the stack, you can see the holes in the stack and everything. But it was used for me to be able to build the model.
Right.
And I used a lithograph by a very well-known, this era modeler, John Ott. You can go to ottgalleries.com, and he's got a lot of lithographs where he's painted up locomotives of that era and what they looked like, based on his research and build documents and stuff like that. And this is what he had come up with. As a matter of fact, he helped build the decals for me. So that they would fit this particular size model.
It's a beautiful model. I love the wood is real wood, isn't it?
Yeah, I did real wood on the back. I went out in the back and cut some branches, and then sat down on my workbench with a straight edge knife and just quartered the branches.
Yeah,
so they look fantastic.
They do. It looks great.
A lot of brass fabrication, the ankle rails that go around, all that's in there.
Domes.
New domes. I even put new bands on it. New boiler bands on there to make sure they matched what they looked like in the real time. So
I like the way I looked at it this way. I can see a different vantage point from looking at it earlier today. It's like the frame and stuff. It's kind of built like a tank car, like an old, because the boiler sits on this metal frame that goes around it, the rectangular frame. It's kind of neat.
Yep. And those were, they called those ankle rails because they would get out and shuffle their way across if they needed to access anything up front. But because of the proximity to the side rods, a lot of engineers and firemen would be injured in that if they were trying to do it. And especially, God help them, if they slipped.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's, in that era, 1860s, you see a lot of that. But that's when they also started moving the platforms up above the wheels so that if they had to get out, the crew could get out and walk along the edge of the engine.
You wouldn't want to be anywhere near that wheel while it's moving.
No, but it makes you think about that. Do you seen the General? It's the, man, my brain is not working with names today. And I'm picturing the guy. It was a comedy. It was a black and white comedy with the General.
Okay.
And anyway, they used an old engine that had been restored as a stand-in, and they eventually blew it up. But it was a silent film.
Right.
And by the time I get to this, I'll probably remember his name. And I really feel bad that I can't remember it. But anyway, they did a bit where he was sitting on the side rod, and the engine started going, and he was sitting on it as it was rolling around like this.
Charlie Chaplin?
It was that era, and I'm trying to think. No, but he did a lot of those silent films. God, like I said, I'm picturing the guy, and I'm drawing a complete blank.
Sitting on the rod that's going around.
Yeah.
Like a teeter-totter.
So, but anyway, I went in and before I reset the old decoder, I brought it in and put on a test fixture and read some of the CVs on it. And then most of the important was the motor control, because these models have a coreless motor on it and barely a flywheel, if you will.
Right.
And so because the motors are so efficient and they're also light, the models are light and so forth, it did do a little bit more of the hesitation and stuff like that than I'd like. So I went and remembered because it took me a little bit of time to come up with those settings that I had in the original Tsunami 2 that was installed. But I went ahead and read those before I reset the decoder and then put it in here. So now it actually runs pretty good.
There you go.
And we'll go ahead and start moving. And I've got the brakes because it's a squeal. It's not an air brake. So when I change direction and release, you don't hear the air, because in 1860 they didn't have an air brake. So there's no air compressors and stuff like that. They literally would use either the cars or they have a handbrake on there, but they would just coast. Or that a lot of times, and you can't really do it on this model because it has traction tires. Go figure.
Right.
But they would also sometimes reverse the direction and slow it down by the opposite rotation of the wheels. And you can see it in that movie. And I feel like it's going to drive me nuts. If you know the answer to the video, the black and white movie, the General, put it in the comments below, because I'm drawing a blank. Of course, 2 minutes after we do this shooting, the shooting of this, I'm going to go look it up.
Yeah, I know I'm going to Google it because I don't know it. So,
but it's actually actually an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
Even though it's silent,
and
they play it, and they'll put little cards in there for the dialogue.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out just because you mentioned it, so I'm going to go check it out. But I'm going to have to Google it because I don't know it either. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be blurting it out.
Yeah, I know. But one of the other things I did on this one is. In 1860, they also hadn't invented the Janny coupler yet. And so it's all link and pin. So if you'll notice the front of the cab here, for those of you watching on video, that there's no coupler. Now the Bachmann one comes with, in my opinion, take it for what it's worth, I sell it for the same price, a very big, ugly, oversized cowcatcher with a giant coupler sticking out of it.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, and the reality is that most people are going to use knuckle couplers,
right?
And it works fine.
Right.
The model works fine. But me being one of the purists out there that wants to make sure everything's done right, it's all link and pin. So when we come back over here to the back of the model, where I've got the tender, I actually have a knuckle coupler here. But if you look closely, it's held in place with a link and pin. So when I lift the pin, and I'll have to do this with my hands because I don't have my tweezers with me, I lift the pin out, and now the coupler simply comes out. I took one of the McHenry couplers that I change on my Athearn stuff, and I basically sanded it down and filed it to a rounded spot so that I can, and then drilled a hole in it so that I can actually couple it on. Because one of the biggest things, when I built this model first, I took it to Kansas City with me because I got an opportunity to run it on Don Ball's layout, the late Don Ball, his Stockton and Copperopolis. What a gorgeous layout. And it's unfortunately we lost him. But before he passed, I got to go out there and run this train. But because I was so committed to the Lincoln pin, I didn't have anything to pull. So I ran my Locomotive light on his layout, and I would have loved to have had a train behind me. And so at that moment, I went home and built the little coupler. So, but the Lincoln pin, this way I can do both.
Right, you can do it on the front too, the pilot.
Yeah, right. It'd be a little harder on that because I don't have a knuckle to put in there.
Right.
But oh well, it is what it is. But that is a brass rod.
Yeah.
So it's got the holes drilled out to match the size of the pin.
Incredible model.
So I can do that. So I had a lot of fun with this one. So, but anyway,
you got the banding on there. Painted those and taped them off, probably, right?
Oh yeah.
And then painted the boiler.
Oh yeah. It was a lot of work.
Yep.
But I had a fun time. So with the Blunami, I put that in last night. And I went through and did a quick, video and showing you how to do that. But like I said, in a quick, I was like, okay. And so I went through and started making my sound selections and my lighting effects and things like that. Oh, one of the things, speaking of lighting effects, I didn't mention, there's actually a firebox flicker in here too.
Yes, there is.
So
very
let's
cool
see if
too.
if this other camera can pick it up. But if you look in the cab, not only did I detail the cab, but there's also a firebox flicker in there. So hopefully that comes through. I'll check it in post, and if it doesn't, I'll put another video that we can put over top.
It's really neat. You can see it looking through the window too.
Yep. But anyway, when I was putting this together, I got everything ready, and then I thought, what a great opportunity to show off one of the new features of the Blunami. Now, this is the Blue 1100. Like I said, we just started shipping these as of this recording 2 days ago. So when you guys see this, they'll be shipping for about a week or so.
Yep.
But I wanted to show you here that now I'm screen recording. One of the benefits of Blunami is I've went through and made my settings. So I can go to my gear settings and go to CVs. Now I can actually hit CV backup. And what that does is it takes all my settings that I have stored in the decoder into the memory of the app, so that now if I can tweak and play, and if I don't like where I'm at, I can always go back to the last backed up session where I'm at, because when I back out of here and then go back to my CV settings, now that I've backed up, you can see on the screen it says CV restore, so I can flash everything back into it. Which leads me to a topic. Part of the reason I wanted to do this is because and you get this a lot, when people are playing with their decoders, first thing I'll say is a lot of people are intimidated by CVs.
Right.
So this applies to the Tsunami 2, the Blunami, Economies, whatever you have. We build our decoders in such a way that they're pretty robust. You can't break them by changing CV values. If you could, we didn't do our job very well.
Right.
Because if we left a landmine for you to find to brick your decoder, we didn't do our job very well. And so with that, one of the things we do during testing, and you'll be experiencing that when we start having conversations for whatever comes next.
Right.
But they give us a book from engineering that's like this thick.
Right.
And I have to go page by page, CV by CV, value by value, and type it in. And I have to go beyond the range. So like, for example, on our decoders here, the Steam decoder has 90 whistles. If I have to be able to choose whistle 110 by accident,
right,
and have the decoder correct itself rather than brick itself looking for data that doesn't exist,
right,
but then it can't move on until it gets data.
Right.
And the data doesn't exist, so that's how it a lot of times will do that. And I will say there are some decoders out there that do that, but ours don't.
Right. They
but
don't.
So that gives you confidence, number one. Confidence number two is that if you want to go in there and experiment with anything you like, let's say for argument's sake, and I haven't played with the equalizer on this at all.
Right.
But if I wanted to go in and experiment with the equalizer, I can hit my CV backup right now, store it all in there. Mm-hmm. Then I can go into, and you're seeing this on the screen somewhere behind me, I can go into sound settings, and there's my equalizer. I can go in and play with the adjustments however I like, and play and listen to it and see how it changes and decide if I like it. If I don't like it, then I can do one of two things. I can either go back to the defaults by just programming the CVs directly, or in this case using the app, or I can do a CV reset.
Right.
And the CV reset is really handy because it gives you, like say an artist is doing this wonderful canvas and he accidentally sneezes and puts a giant thing across the artwork or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh crap, it's ruined.
Right.
Well, in our case, the good news is we can just reset the decoder and start over.
Right.
Because now it'll give you the opportunity to have a clean slate. Right. So let's say you program something inadvertently. I know I'm guilty of it. These bear claws aren't necessarily small, so right. I can occasionally hit the wrong button. And depending on the brand, like the NCE that's sitting over here,
right.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4 across, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. But if I'm using a Digitrax system, it's a traditional 10 key, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
right.
And the 0 below it.
Right.
So it's easy for me to mix up, especially if I'm typing quickly. So sometimes it happens where we hit the wrong button and we fat finger something.
Right.
It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and then you're wondering, what? Why is it doing that?
Yep. So I'm going to show you how to do this. So I've backed up my settings.
Right.
So I'm happy with that. So I go to CV settings. I'm going to read-write CVs. So right here, I'm just going to type in CV8, and I'm going to put in a value of 8. Now, CV8 to 8 resets the entire decoder.
Yep.
And I'm going to go ahead and hit write. So now, in order to finish the reset, I have to now basically reset, take power away from the decoder.
Right.
But I have a current keeper in here, and so I have to take it off. So I'll turn it this way towards the camera so that you can see when the lights extinguish. And at this point, I still have control of the decoder. And you can see that the Bluetooth is what's controlling this.
Right.
So we're waiting for it to die. But this is a nice safety net because you can also do partial resets.
Yep.
So you can reset CVs 1 to 128, 129 to 256,
right.
And then CVs 1 dot whatever, CVs 2 dot whatever, CVs 3 dot whatever.
Yeah, I mean, depending on where you're at and what you want to reset, you don't have
Correct.
to reset the whole decoder.
Correct. So now we've timed out, and we're going to wait just a few more moments just to make sure that current keeper is fully drained.
Right.
And because what we want to do is we want to reset the processor. We want to make sure that processor shut down, because when it wakes up, it's going to see that note, hey, do a CV reset. And then once it resets, then everything will go back to the way it was. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to carefully rail it on one rail first, because I don't want to bounce the model. But I also didn't want to hold it tipped up. Okay, so now I'm back down on the track. The model's going to be quiet for a few moments, and then all the lights are going to start to flash. And that's your visual indication to let you know that the reset has in fact taken place.
There it goes.
So the lights are flashing, and it'll flash 16 times. So now we have a brand new slate. Now the one thing I will say, that when you do this, the decoder address goes back to 3. Mm-hmm. If you're doing this with a Blunami, the one challenge is that when you come in here, you have to make sure that you set this in as address 3, because otherwise it's talking to an address that is not the one the decoder's set
right.
to, because it remembers that it's there. So when I come in here, you can hear now it's a different whistle, and the volumes are changed, and now you're hearing a dynamo. Whoops, I'm not selling ice cream, so let's turn that off.
Right.
So you can see that now I've reset my decoder. So now, as I was talking about with my motor control, I can start moving, and you kind of see it's a little, it's not quite as smooth. Of course, it's one of the wheels is off the rail, but it's better than it was last night. But it's still pretty good. Mm-hmm. But there's some tweaks in there that'll get you a better run. So you can kind of see how the model runs. Now, here's the advantage to Blunami. Now, if you were doing a Tsunami 2 or Econami, you have to go in and manually reset all those CVs.
Right.
Where with Blunami, I can simply go here to my CV settings, and then I hit that CV restore. And it says, warning, are you sure you're going to restore everything from the last backup to what it was? And I'm going to say, yes, that's exactly what I want. So now you see that the screen is going as it's writing all the CVs. So here shortly, you're going to hear the dynamo disappear. Because I turned that volume off so that I wouldn't hear it. Should be coming up here shortly because I can see where the CVs is. It's at CV 100 now. There it goes.
Yep.
So now all the settings are back to
what they were,
that I had backed it up just a few moments ago on the camera. And so now any changes I had made prior are now back to the last restore, or the last backup that I had done.
Right. It's a lot quicker and easier.
So it gives you that flexibility and that confidence to know that, hey, I can experiment, I can try something out, because there's so many cool features in the decoder that you may find something that you've neglected for years. Like I know you and I've talked, when it comes to like momentum and stuff like that.
Right.
You come over to my place and you were like, oh wow, that's so much better to run, and then you went home and set all yours that way.
Right, and backed them up.
Right, exactly.
So if I reset anything, I do the same thing. I'll just restore them after I back it up, or reset and then restore. And that's it.
And now my CV settings have all been restored. So now we go back over here to my operating panel, and you can hear my whistles back. And now when I start moving, you can see that my momentum's back also. So all of the settings that I had done before are now back stored in the decoder.
Yep, even the
including
lights
my lights back up
and
in my firebox light.
Yep.
Because the firebox light's actually wired to the backup light. And so when we do the reset, headlight and then backup light.
Right.
But now they're both on.
Right. The way it was
when I left it.
It makes it a lot easier. I mean, you can do the same thing with the Tsunami 2. You just have to keep a list of the things. This just puts it on a fast track. Mm-hmm. No pun intended, but.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. I saw what you did there.
Yeah, that's good. But it does. It makes it's so much more time efficient instead of time consuming. But like I said, not to knock the CV way of doing it. The Tsunami 2, you can do the same thing. Just keep a list of what you're doing before you do the reset. Or like George said earlier, when you do a partial, you just keep the ones that you did reset. Just keep a list of them if you're using a Tsunami 2.
Yep. And then once you reset the Tsunami 2 or your Economy, you can just go in and just with your command station type in your CVs as you go, so that way you know what you're doing. So with a Tsunami 2, you can go in certain aspects of it. Start with a fresh decoder. Play with it. Learn what that feature does. Reset the decoder. Just jot down what you liked.
Right.
And then go to the next section. Play with the decoder. Play with the values. See what you like. Write those down. Reset the decoder. And that way, once you build that all together, now you can have a fantastic model that runs the way you want it to,
right.
Not necessarily, the way we've suggested out of the box, which isn't bad.
No.
But you like running your trains your way, and that's why all this flexibility is built in there.
And as you're proficient with your particular DCC system, albeit Digitrax, CVP, Lens, NCE, whatever, you're going to be proficient with that type of interface or throttle or JMRI or any of those things. You're going to be able to go and do the same thing as that, but Blunami puts it all right here in his phone for you. Everything's right there. So
absolutely. So with that kind of gives you some confidence. So I encourage you folks to go out there and experiment and try things out. You may find that like I said, some of these features that we've talked about are some of the best things, and we've got a lot of videos on our YouTube channel breaking down a lot of these different features, settings, adjustments, even sounds. I mean, because like when my model starts off, most people hear that first chuff and don't realize it's actually a chuff. They think, or don't realize it's not a chuff, is what I meant to say. It's the snifter valve.
Right.
But most people don't realize what that is.
I didn't know that until I started working here. So
right.
I'm telling you, I was one of those people.
We're not around steam engines like we used to be, so it's very, very understandable. But we've got videos out there. I just sent a link to a gentleman today where I've taken a lot of the sounds that are on the steam engine and isolated them so you can hear what they are, so that you know what it is. And I brought it up specifically because I was talking about the snifter valve.
Right.
The question was his model wouldn't run, but he could blow the whistle and ring the bell. Well, you and I both know most likely he has it in a consist that he doesn't know set in CV19.
Right.
But I asked him if you can hear that snifter valve
before it moves.
When he gives it a motor command,
right,
to send that snifter valve. If you hear the snifter valve, that means the decoder's trying to work.
Right.
But then now that means there's something physical, whether it's a motor bound, it could be a broken wire to the motor,
right,
or it very well could be the motor component may be damaged.
Right.
But those are the kind of things that we listen to the decoder, how it behaves, so that we can help people diagnose what's going on. Obviously, something physical isn't necessarily something a reset would take place, but
no.
CV19 would be cleared by a CV reset.
But it's good to know that, and so if you know that, and you're a steam engine guy, you know that, and now George explained that to you. That's just one little thing to look for if you are trying to troubleshoot something. There you go.
Absolutely. So, with that, we've covered pretty much most of the topics. I do want to talk about, as you may or may not have noticed, for those of you watching videos, I got my Christmas Buc-ee's cup over here. I've seen a couple of you guys comment about my Buc-ee's cup.
They're kind of neat.
These are awesome cups. I love these things. Man, I left a cup here one day with ice and water in it. I came in the next morning, it still had ice and water.
Yeah, they're great.
That sold me on it.
That's the festive
Buc-ee's right there.
Yes.
But anyway, so we got the holidays coming up. I mean, we're here in the first week of recording this, the first week of December. So wanted to kind of remind you that holidays are coming quick.
Yeah.
And they ain't going to slow down for any of us. So if you guys want to do any Christmas shopping at SoundTraxx.com or any of our retailers, get cool stuff like this great t-shirt, hats, which I left at my desk. I was going to bring it over here. Christmas ornaments for your Christmas tree. Always want to make sure to get that.
We have a SoundTraxx tumbler like that.
Now we just started a SoundTraxx tumbler. Yeah,
we have a purple tumbler.
I hadn't gotten mine, so I still got my Buc-ee's.
Yeah, I was eyeballing that thing this morning. I'm gonna tell you, I was thinking about getting one of them. So
we got that, all that kind of cool stuff. We even got a stuffed SoundTraxx dog.
Really? Yeah, that's right.
We do.
Yep.
It's a little stuffed dog wearing the SoundTraxx shirt. Like our mascots around the office.
Right. Yeah, they need to. They venture here every once in a while. They'll venture into the line of sight here.
So you can get all that stuff at our website, but you want to make sure you get your orders in because December 17th is about the last day we can guarantee because it'll go out UPS.
Right.
And unless you pay extra for expedited, of course. But but we were kind of talking about December 17th is you want to make sure to get your orders in. And also check with your retailers, too. I mean, obviously, local retailers have a little bit more leeway as far as going in and being able to pick it up. But if you're ordering online, a lot of the retailers have stocked up for the holidays, and they're ready to go. So got a lot of product out there.
And keep in mind also December 17th and to ship out that day, but also with the carriers, they are dependent on weather too, and weather's starting to turn here a little bit too. So I noticed I had a couple packages that are supposed to be here today, and they'll be here a day late because of the weather. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yep, absolutely. So you always want to check that out and make sure. So be sure to check out our videos on our YouTube channel. For those of you guys watching, we appreciate your time. Hope this was entertaining and informative for you. We've covered a lot today.
Yep.
It was crazy.
Yep.
And time flies fast.
It does.
So I got to go. I got another meeting here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm thinking about going up and listening to the snifter valves at the McDonald's uptown because there's a Durango and Silverton's right next to it. So that's one place I don't mind being in line. I'll sit there and watch them switch with those steam engines. And like George said, you can hear that snifter valve and all that cool stuff right there, like not 50 yards from you.
Exactly.
So,
well, there's a lot of cool stuff on a steam engine. They really do
really
come
cool.
to life.
It's really no offense to the diesels they got down there, but it is neat to sit there when you're going around to get a McRib. You're sitting there waiting, and there's the steam engine, and he's moving those cars. I'm just like, I've had people honk at me like, "Hey, move it," because I've been glued to that, watching that engine move. So.
You and your Mac ribs.
Yeah.
Actually, I should say me and my Mac ribs.
Mac ribs, yeah. McDonald's.
There you go. All right. Well, I think we're getting a little punchy here. So let's go ahead and close it out.
All right.
So guys, we appreciate it. This is Season 2, Episode 21. This is our 34th podcast. So, guys, thanks for watching. Hope this was entertaining. Be sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Like this video. Leave a comment if you have any comments. And also, don't hesitate to call us. If you have questions, thoughts, comments, you need help with something, we're here to help you. Email us at support@soundtraxx.com or give us a call, and we'll help answer your question and get you going. So obviously we want you to enjoy your hobby, and whatever that intakes, we're going to be here to help you out with SoundTraxx products.
Yep. And everybody out there, happy holidays, Merry Christmas to you, and Happy New Year if we don't see you.
I got another one before the holidays hit.
But just in case.
Just in case, yeah.
And, I don't know.
Weather could happen.
It's just a nice thing to say.
Yep. So with that, we'll close it out. This has been the SoundTraxx Soundbites podcast. We're Train Talk from Milepost 141. We want to appreciate all y'all watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. We'll see you.
Bye.